Okay, hey YouTube, it's Jason Hong. I'm just here today talking about dragon boating. Um, Essentially, I guess our first step is how to get into the boat and where to sit. Normally, in the front of the boat are the pacers, and okay, so my assistant here is looking to the front of the boat. As you can see, the pacers are right at the very front. They control the pace of the boat. They're also known as the strokes. That's usually the first 3 seats or the first 6 people up front. Then we come to the middle of the boat, and it's called the engine. As you can see, it has the most amount of space. Usually it's for the I guess bigger individuals or the guys who have the most power. This part of the boat is the deepest in the water, so it's the heaviest. So we need as much power as we can to lift the boat up from the middle portion here. And we have the back here, kind of like the front. The space becomes a little bit more limited as well. Usually we call them the Terminators or the Rockets. When you're in a race competitive situation, usually I guess the weaker paddlers will go to the back to ensure that the stroke or the synchronization of the paddling is correct all the way through, and someone who doesn't not have as much experience will not essentially screw up the boat if they're sitting in the middle or up in the front, right? Okay, so let's talk about the seating. Okay, I'm a right-handed paddler myself. When you're sitting down in the boat, you want to have essentially your 2 legs extended out, straight out. But if you can't, if that's not comfortable, the one basic rule is if you're on the right side paddler, you want to have your right leg out, as close to the gunnel and as close to the water as possible. So when you're in the water with your paddle, you want to have your leg out, extended, bent, and then when you're pulling back, you just want to extend your leg out. And you're sitting up straight. When you're back in the exit, the air is coming in. You don't want to be slashed out because airflow into your lungs become limited, right? You want to be standing up, big chest, when you're coming out for the exit. So first step in paddling is to lean out, right? To have all your power outside of the boat. First stroke technique you will learn what we call the A-frame. Okay, so I'll take my paddle here. Essentially, it's called the A-frame, essentially because it looks like an A, right? You want to extend your arms, your bottom arm out. Your top arm should be straight out. A lot of the mistakes that paddlers do is not to have the top arm straight. Sometimes they'll have it bent out like this, or they'll have their bottom arm like this out, right? But the reach is limited if you do this, right? And your muscles will tire out. So essentially, you just want to have your arms straight out, your top arm straight out, your bottom arm straight out. You're essentially an A. So when you enter the water, this is essentially called the catch. Sorry, I forgot to mention. So this is the blade, shaft, and top of the paddle, right? You want to have your bottom arm straight out, maybe just an inch above the paddle to get a little bit further reach. And when you enter the water, you want to make sure your paddle is perpendicular, and then you want to make sure that your entire blade goes in. Okay, it's perpendicular. This handle should not be in the boat, but should be outside, straight. So once you have this, and you ensure that your knee is bent, it's something called the lock position. So once you're locked, you can just push back. Right? As you can see, I'm using most of my back and most of my legs when coming back. I'm not using my biceps as much because, of course, they'll burn out during a race. So I'm just using my entire body to push back. When you're exiting, there's a lot of common mistakes. People tend to do this, like a straight push out, but there's problems with this. Essentially, you can blow out your shoulder, and it's not efficient, okay? Just like the swimmers, you should be going out in the outward motion and then into the water, okay? The advantages of going out like this is not, so you're not able to, so you don't have to be crashing into the waves, right? The water is going to be coming down here. You want to avoid that, avoid the waves. And then once you're up in the front, make your paddle perpendicular once again, straight, your knee is bent, then you enter the water and you pull back again. So I'm coming out, it's almost like pulling out a sword from your sheath, right? Straight, perpendicular, in entirely with your paddle. A lot of people do this. Your paddle is halfway out. You do this, water is going to come into the boat. Your person behind you is going to get blinded by the water, and you don't want that. You want your entire paddle to be entirely deep into the water and then pulling back. So you have maximum pull, maximum resistance with your paddle, right? So I'll show you a few strokes just to see how much power you can actually get. Also, I forgot, you want to separate your shoulders to a rotation technique. A lot of people do this. It's called hinging. You don't want to do that. There's no power in hinging. Just straightening up like this. Essentially, you want to separate your shoulders as much as you can, straighten out the paddle, rotate, and then de-rotate. Alright, so let's do a few strokes to see how much power we can get here. Right? And just twisting my body as much as I can to rotate. Rotating. Coming out, my exit. Just wrapping my paddle around. Okay, so let's just do some in real time. Okay, so that's your tutorial for today for dragon boating. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Any questions, you can message me on YouTube. Alright, see ya.